My friends often write me in their personal messages asking if Bitcoin will drop below $20,000 again to buy it. As we can see, the price touched $25,000 and then rolled back towards $23,000. If you are also wondering what is going on, then I will give you 3 reasons why Bitcoin is still able to return to $20,000 and maybe even renew the bottom. Famous bear Mark Buehry gave his prediction on Bitcoin when the market was near its bottom. In his understanding, the Bitcoin bear market is only at the half. That is, this is a direct hint of attack to $10,000, and as a consequence for altcoins will be just a lot of pain on what Buehry relied in his forecast. Obviously, he was staking on the Bitcoin's continuing correlation with the American stock market, which he still predicts a crisis. Can the S&P 500 collapse if the worst for it seems to be over? By that I mean the reversal of the inflation rate. It did start to go down and stood at 85% in July. Also, another important inflation indicator, the producer price index, has gone down, also below the forecast, and as a consequence we see that the market expectations of a 75-point Federal Reserve rate hike in September have dropped sharply to only 25%. The growth of the stocks in July was due to the hope that the Federal Reserve was right about the future inflation slowdown, at least this time. Consequently, they will start to conduct a softer monetary policy in the future. And now these expectations were confirmed, and we again get the continuation of the recovery. But it is not even the statistics data that decides much here. To put it simply, the inflation and Federal Reserve rate are not so scary for investors anymore. Before they were feared as the devil, but now it's oak, and it does not really matter if bad inflation data, like it was in July, or good, like it was in August. The market is not afraid. There is a buyer, which means that the bounce in stocks continues and due to correlations helps to support prices of cryptocurrencies. What needs to happen for the S&P 500 to go back down and drag Bitcoin with it? Obviously, we need a return of fear. And if inflation is no longer scary, then we can find other reasons. For instance, this time the leading companies' reports only looked good, largely because of the pre-inflated forecasts. This time the market missed such an important point, but in a quarter it may turn out that this factor will come out on top. Let me remind you that giants like Microsoft, Google, Tesla, and so on are introducing austerity policies. Some are not hiring new employees, some are already firing. Some are cutting salaries and advertising budgets and so on. So officially everything is kind of fine. But in fact, everyone is preparing for at least a prolonged recession, and at most a full-fledged financial crisis. A closer reason which can also become a reason for a new fear, and as a consequence a sale. This is the sale of assets from the balance sheets of the Federal Reserve. The mass media deliberately ignores this theme, and in fact, the sales have been going on for a couple of months at $47 billion. And in September, this figure will double to $95 billion. And there is no guarantee that the Fed will not then increase the volume of sales twice or more. After all, they have almost $9 trillion worth of assets. But the media is silent about it for some reason. They just forgot or haven't yet received the command to make a panic about this event. Don't forget that we are not in 2020. The Federal Reserve can't turn on the printing press until it brings inflation back to 2%. And even after the recent decline, it is still 8.5%. Moreover, the problems in the stock market will not necessarily start in the US. The blow may come from China, where there are huge problems in the economy because of the debt bubble, another aggravation of the conflict around Taiwan, and a bonus of a new unknown virus. Anyway, if you think that the worst of 2022 is over, I have just given you plenty of reasons why you could be wrong. And then I'll talk about 2 potential reasons for the Bitcoin collapse that relate directly to cryptocurrencies. I've repeated the phrase many times that catching the bottom is stupid. And if you have a long-term investment horizon, it doesn't even make much financial sense. But let's be honest with ourselves. We really want to buy the cheapest Bitcoin. That's what planned crypto analyst subscribers really care about. Not for nothing, because 65% voted that we will still see Bitcoin at $20,000. Subscribers also said yes, we're likely to see another price like that on Bitcoin, and I cited these polls for a reason. There is a simple rule: for the price to grow, someone has to buy, and now Bitcoin buyers are really having an extremely big problem because convinced hodlers they either already gained a full position or are adding a little bit every month. Such volumes aren't able to accelerate the market. And we don't have any hype right now. No new buyers are coming to the market. Those who came here in the last couple of years, who still have some energy and money after the collapse that began last autumn, I can roughly divide them into two groups. The first one, who was waiting for the Bitcoin at $10,000 and now counting that they can buy it at least at $20,000. And the second group, that initially invested only in altcoins, which yield higher profit in dollars on bull market. This is clearly seen in the Bitcoin share, which shows decline. While on the bear market, it should increase, because Bitcoin is the most reliable and secure active crypto market. I also remember very well the bear market of 2018. At that time, there was an iron certainty that it will not fall below $6,000, but in reality, it turned out to be at $3,000, and that's largely the reason why nobody wanted to buy Bitcoin at that time. That's why till the market will not have a buyer, we will stay in a bearish trend formally, and as a consequence the risk of new bottom will be with us all the time. And in addition to a weak buyer, cryptocurrencies are threatened by regulators, and they are obviously very serious. Please subscribe to the channel if you recently watched Crypto Today. Press like if this video is really useful to you. Can you imagine the cryptocurrency market capitalization halving? For reference, it fell 83% in 2018, and in the current bear market, it's only down 70%. So we still have potential in this regard, and it could happen not only because of Bitcoin or Ether, but because of a lot of altcoins that now have a decent capitalization, but for the actions of the regulators, it could go completely to zero. I will give you an example with Tornado Cash, which has been recalled recently. In a few days, this CryptoMixers token was getting its third consecutive dime and has already dropped 60%. First, the news came out that the US imposed sanctions against the mixer. Then decentralized exchanges and other DeFi projects started blocking users of the mixer because they were afraid of sanctions. Imagine that regulators start to impose sanctions against projects and detain their developers. Money that is in the protocols start to rush into the market for fear of being blocked. And altogether, this story could be worse than the collapse of Luna and USTC. It was a top protocol that crashed, but only one. But if it will be a mass crash, you can think it over by yourself. I didn't give any bearish forecast in this video, and I'm not waiting about $20,000 for Bitcoins, but I told you the reasons why it may become true. Leave your comments below the video, and let's try to build a picture of the current market together. Thanks for watching.